Hello, friends. It's your girl, Anna Loves, and welcome back to Creepy Corner Story Time. So, today's story, I'm going to tell you how I fucked around and found out. So, a lot of the stories that I tell are about people that just are getting into stuff that they shouldn't be getting into. And well, this is my story of getting into something I shouldn't have been getting into. A friend of mine, he had a impairment where he had difficulty walking. He wasn't epileptic and he'd had some seizures, and they were so severe that they caused him to have a stroke. When he had a stroke, his arm and leg were bound, and he said that he was referred over to a lady that did physical therapy, but she was known to be kind of like a curandera, or so I thought. So I thought this was really interesting. So I asked him if I could tag along with him to meet this lady that was going to help do this physical therapy on his arm and leg and put it back into the correct position again. He said, fine. He let me tag along. I went. She showed him how to massage his muscles to get them to loosen up. And I thought this was interesting because I have family members that have really bad knots in their backs and even bulging discs. And she said that this would cure it. And she also said that she was a doctor in Mexico, but that here she would have to go to school all over again and it just wasn't worth it. So she kind of did her thing on the side. And so I thought this was really interesting. She also was showing me like all these different crystals and stuff, and saying that it's to help like keep bad spirits away. And I thought this was cool. We had a little conversation, and she looked at me and she goes, "I know you." I said, "No, I've never met you." And she goes, "I want you to do me a favor. I want you to come see me, but I want it just to be me and you. Don't bring your friend." I thought, that's a little weird, but okay. So, she had already intrigued me by then by showing me the crystals and showing like the massage techniques and stuff like that. And she definitely was a doctor. She had her little degree and everything up. So I thought that was pretty cool. So, there's always something to learn from people when you're out and about. So I set up a time and I went back to see her one on one. Now, a little bit of history. Guys, you guys that have been watching my channel for a little while know that my family is highly sensitive to things supernatural. Um, we can see things, hear things, feel things. I try really not to mess with it too much because, quite honestly, it's scary. So I just kind of avoid it. And as soon as I got to her house, I hadn't even knocked on the door. I went to knock and she opened the door and she said, "Oh, good, you're here. Come in." And she said, "Somebody wants to talk to you." I was like, "Okay." I thought that was weird. I thought it was just going to be me and you. And she was, "Oh, yeah, it is. Come on." So, like, that didn't really make sense to me how someone wanted to talk to me, but yet nobody was there except for her. And she had a small daughter. Little girl was in the other room. She's like playing in a playhouse or whatever. That's neither here nor there. So we go to the back room and she says, "I know what you are." And I'm like, okay. I don't really understand what you're getting at. She was like, "You have spirits all around you." And I thought, okay, well, doesn't everybody have spirits all around them? That didn't really make a lot of sense for her to tell me this. She said, I want you to do something for me." And still, I'm like taking the bait like a dummy. And she said, "I want you to close your eyes and I want you to put your hands out like this." Okay, so I do it and I can feel her touch my hands and start moving them up, down, around like that. And she said, "Okay, now I want you to open your eyes." And when I opened my eyes, she was standing on the other side of the room. Who the hell was touching my hands? Who the hell was moving my hands in circles? Because I felt her hands on me. And it was right then that she finally disclosed that she was a witch. She was not a curandera. She was a straight up witch. And she wanted for me to start training with her so that I could learn some of their arts and help her. I said, absolutely not. I got my stuff and I left out of there, never talked to her again. You know, I like spooky stuff for entertainment, but by no means do I ever want to get involved in that kind of crap. You know, it's to me, it's entertainment, it's interesting. You know, the stories. I like to read about that stuff, but I'm a strict observer. There's nothing else that I want to be involved with. But I'm gonna tell you what, when she told me what she was, and that I don't know what the hell was touching me, all the hairs on the back of my neck stood up, and all the blood in my face probably drained all the way to my feet. I was out of there. So let me ask you guys. I know that the topic is kind of taboo, but would you let yourself get pulled into something like that, or do you think that you might want to like at least stick around and see what it's about? You know, sometimes when I think about it now, I think, well, maybe it might have been interesting to learn a few things, but you know, my grandfather used to always tell me that you just shouldn't get involved in stuff like that. So I'd like to hear your thoughts. Tell me in the comments. Thanks for watching. Bye.